Hello and welcome to Wild on 6TV, the Oxford Channel. I'm Sasha Norris and that's Louis, and today we're at the River Lambourne in Berkshire with another good news story. Salmon are being reintroduced to the River Thames. They're halfway through the project and I'm here to meet Daryl, Clifton Day from the Environment Agency and to find out why it takes 6 men to weigh a fish. So Daryl, what are you doing now?
What we're doing here is we've got these 2 long nets that we're putting in the river, and they're about 100 metres apart. And the idea is that this basically blocks off anything from coming in or out of this 100 metre stretch of the river, which means that we can go in with the survey equipment and we can take all the fish out that we need in this whole section.
Right, okay, so it's stopping the fish moving on.
Stops them swimming off and running away.
Running away, okay. Right, what's happening now? What are you doing?
Basically, I'm setting up the electrofishing equipment, which is what we use to take the fish out of the river with.
Right.
What we do, we walk along in the river and we tow this equipment behind us, and it just puts a small current of electricity in the water and stuns the fish so that we can catch them. So.
Okay, so this puts electricity through the water.
That's right, yeah, that's
and the
right.
Fish, the fish get buzzed, basically,
yeah,
and that stuns
the fish get stunned for a few seconds, which just gives us time to catch them in nets. Right. So we can take the fish out and we can measure them and weigh them and see what particular fish that we've got in this stretch of the river.
Okay, and is this to put the fish in?
That's right, yeah, they're going to go in the bin there just to hold them until we get back to the larger tubs there where we can hold the fish.
Right.
While we're doing all the work with them.
And this is the electrical equipment?
That's right, yeah, we're just setting this up at the moment. This is the cathode, and I'm going to set the anodes up in a minute. And this is the electricity box
they generate
as well.
the electrical...
That's right, with the electricity is generated by the generator, obviously. And this is the electrofishing box, which puts the electricity through to the anodes as well. So.
Right, okay.
Okay.
And this goes on the water, this little thingy, does
That's
it?
right, yeah, we're going to tow that behind us.
Right. Okay. Is that how the electricity is generated?
No, it's the water pump.
Oh, that's the water pump? Yeah. Okay, so what are you doing?
Just being bone idle, basically.
Being bone idle?
All we're doing is just going to fill the tanks up so we've got some water to hold the fish in.
Okay, so
when we get them back.
Right, okay.
Very quick and easy.
Do you want to come even closer? So at the point...
Do you want to borrow some
Find
wellies?
out, Lou.
Do you want to borrow some
Have you
waders?
got some wellies? Get you some wellies.
I'm trying to put these huge boots on. I was told at the last minute that I was going to be wading in water practically up.
And I told him right last week.
Last week, my arm. So,
There they are.
it's interesting to see if I can stay up. If I do fall down, I'm going home.
Keep back, keep well back.
Take to the hills.
Okay, because you're going to basically pass electric current through the water.
Yeah.
And is that dangerous to other wildlife?
Anything that gets near it, there is a danger for it. But it's quite the current doesn't travel very far in water. It's only within about 30 to 50 centimetres around the end of these rings here.
Right.
That it'll actually be
The
affected.
electricity is coming off that ring, is it?
Yeah.
Can you just have a look at that?
That's an anode ring. And then at the back of the boat there's a cathode as well. The electricity passes between the two.
Right. Okay, so keep well back at that point.
Stay well away from those.
No fried cameramen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time me off a bit, I don't need to not smart up at all.
And is that your first fish of the day?
Yep, no, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Got loads this morning.
Oh, did you?
Got the sun's coming down to the sea. Yeah. The idea is to keep fairly well abreast, which is the whole width of the stream together.
Was that a salmon that you caught, you said?
Trout.
A trout, okay. So we're looking for salmon, aren't we?
Looking for everything. Take everything.
this is a kind of lazy way to fish, isn't it? You know, is this something that anyone can do, or no? You need a special license. When this happens, we'll expect to see the fish starting to float to the surface, stunned. So they're not dead.
They're not dead.
They're your special fish that you specially want to look after, because that's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about, yeah. They have a natural reflex to electricity, or the electricity we're using, and they actually swim towards the electrode in your hand. It's automatic.
Wow.
So it actually, this equipment actually pulls them out of any little bit of bankside vegetation.
Why do they do that?
They can't help themselves. It's just an automatic response.
They swim towards the electricity.
Yeah.
And therefore into your hands, and then you're able to measure them, weigh them, see how they're doing.
And then they recover.
Then they recover and you put them back in.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so we'll see you in a few minutes when you've got some fish out.
That's right.
Yeah, and another fish. That one's got that up cloudy water. Adam?
Fish at your feet. Yeah, little tiny fish. We definitely got a fish before. But it's metamorphosed into a leaf. It was a fish, but it's changed into a leaf as we watched. It's a miracle. No, it was a fish, honest.
Salmon is it?
What, you finished now?
Yeah.
And now you're going to look at the fish?
Yeah, what we do, we're going to go and have a look at the fish, see what species we caught, measure them and weigh the fish as well.
Can I let the dog go now?
Yeah, you can.
To be safe?
Yeah, be safe.
Okay then, thanks. How many did you get, do you know?
Don't know, fair few.
What, about 20, 30?
I wonder around.
It's not bad
Probably
for like 5 minutes fishing, is it?
Probably 100.
100 fish?
Probably thereabouts, I'd have thought. Something like that.
Yeah.
Did that go well, Darryl?
I thought it went very well, yeah. The fish seemed quite happy, which is always a good thing. And
How do you measure that?
when they recover quite quickly, they get stunned, and they sort of look quite unwell for a few seconds. But when they come back to life, we have a tub with oxygen to keep them happy, and then they seem to recover very
They look
quickly.
lively and healthy and
Yeah.
sprightly. Okay, so we're going to go and have a look at
Yeah.
fish now. Fantastic.
I got it.
Are they going to be all right in there all together, Darryl?
They should be fine, yeah.
Yeah?
We won't keep them in there for too long. What we'll do is we'll take them out, length them, weigh them, take a scale off so we can see how old they are.
And we're going to do that now?
We can do that now, yeah.
Yeah? And then what do? You release them further upstream? so
No,
that-
we'll hold them and we'll do another run up between the two nets, and then probably a third run as well, so that we've probably got 95 to 100% of the fish out of that stretch of river.
Now, is this the idea, is to know how many fish are in that
Yeah.
stretch of river? So that's a lot of fish, isn't it?
It is a lot of fish, yeah. It's a lot surprising, really. When you walk up and down the riverbank, you think that you don't see a fish and you think isn't anything in there. Surprising what you really
They're
find.
hiding,
They are hiding. They've got
In the
fantastic
weeds.
camouflage.
aren't they? Okay, now some of the fish are sort of still floating around looking a bit sorry for themselves, but most of them look fine, don't they? They're
Most of them
sort
look fighting fit,
of fighting
which means
fit.
we're going to have a struggle on our hands with some of the larger fish.
Really?
Yeah.
It's my lesson in fish weighing. You just go feeling around in there for a fish.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take my ring off.
Get you a trout.
Oh, okay.
This is a
Brown
brown
trout.
trout.
Right,
This
this is a native type of trout.
native trout. It's quite a
It's
lively one.
always lived here. We've got another trout, haven't we? The
Yeah.
rainbow trout, which has been put into our
Yeah,
rivers.
it's been introduced. If you can just wet your hands before you touch the fish.
Okay.
Thank you. Right, there's a brown trout.
Okay. Oh, it's so smooth, isn't it?
Lovely spots on the side of the body and on the fins.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And how long can he stay out of the water?
Not very long.
Is it a he or is it a she?
I suspect this one's a she.
How do you know?
Partly a bit of guesswork, partly because she looks like they'll be spawning fairly soon, the trout, and she's got a very sort of fat belly here, which means she's probably got some eggs inside her.
Oh, okay. Okay, well we don't want to upset her.
Okay, she's 302 millimeters long.
302 millimetres.
Yeah, Adrian's going to take a scale, which looks like a tree growth rings through a microscope.
Oh, I see. So you can actually look at that under a microscope and see how old she is.
337.
Exactly how old she is,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have to slice them up?
No, you just look at.
Literally under the
Yeah.
microscope.
There
Yes,
they-
it is. Okay, and that's the done pile.
That's the done pile.
That's the out tray.
This is a smaller trout. It's a little one, probably that was born as an egg
Little baby rainbow trout.
last November or December.
Oh, fantastic. Do they get a bit stressed because it's hot? Whoops, we lost
They
them.
do get a little bit stressed in the heat, but because your hands are wet, they should stay quite
Should be
cold.
all right. Okay. I'm going to let you. What else have we got? Okay, so there's a.
Trout. I'm trying to find you a salmon.
Ah.
It's going to be swimming off.
So should we have a look at that big grayling as well? And then
Yeah.
our salmon last, because that's our pride and joy, isn't it?
This is a grayling.
This is the one you said was the lady of the river.
It is, yeah. You see, they've got enormous dorsal fin with a big red
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Look at
thing
that.
to it.
What
They
a
are
lovely
beautiful fish.
Brown trout. 108. Brown trout. 110. 109. Oh,
I think that you need a bigger tub.
I think you're probably right.
What if I've got one in the car?
597.
You didn't expect to get fish that big.
No. Trouts. 100.
Okay, that one fits.
That one fits quite nicely.
15 grams.
And how old is that trout?
That'll be about 11 or 12 months old.
Brown trout. 381.
Now you've got lots of trout, Daryl. Is that
Yeah.
that good news, or are you looking for trout? What are you hoping for?
Well, we expect trout to be here anyway, because this is just a really nice stretch of river for trout, which is one of the reasons why we stock it with salmon, basically. Although salmon and trout do have different requirements, they're fairly similar, and we're hoping that the salmon live here quite happily, as the trout obviously do.
Right. But are you hoping that for more salmon than you're seeing at the moment, or can't you tell yet?
Can't really tell at the moment. I think we've probably caught about 20 or 30 salmon in this first run, which isn't fantastic, but not too bad really. And there's a lot of marginal weeds and stuff that the salmon could probably tuck into, and we'd have real trouble getting them out with any survey kit at all.
Now we didn't get to see a salmon earlier.
You haven't got to see a salmon
one?
yet. I'll try and get you one. There's a salmon.
Ah.
Very similar in looking to a trout, but it's just slightly. Hold it.
I could do. I've got wet in my hand.
Just slightly sleeker body and not so many spots on the side of her.
Ah,
And that was one of the salmon we'll have put in June.
it's a bit thinner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now this is a kind of salmon that we would eat, is it?
Well, you need a lot of them to make a butty.
But this is a baby, isn't
Yes.
it? I'm going to put him back in there. This is a baby. How big can we get?
Well, the ones we get back as adults in the Thames normally come in at about 5 to 10 pounds in weight, so about 2.5 to 4 kilos.
That big?
Probably a bit bigger.
That
About
big?
that sort of size, yeah. 60, 70 centimetres long.
That's great. Okay, so this is a salmon, is it?
That's a salmon.
Where's the trout? In your hands? Here's the trout. Okay.
What I caught earlier.
Okay. So tell me the difference. They look very similar.
Well, if you look at the
The salmon? Or
you look at the tail of the trout, it's a lot thicker, the tail, than the salmon, which is quite sleek and thin.
Yes.
Right.
What? I'll get it. Got it. It's got it. Wait. Okay.
Okay. Now, if you look at the mouth of a salmon,
Yeah.
if you look behind the eye, a line drawn with the eye there, the little upper jaw here doesn't go beyond the eye. Whereas on a trout, the mouth comes a little bit further back.
Okay.
The trout is a lot thicker set. It's a bigger fish. It looks a lot thicker.
Right.
Then the salmon,
Yeah.
which
That's
looks
the
sleeker.
main difference, isn't it?
It
They're
is,
kind
yeah.
of
And
sort of
also
oval,
on these,
classic fish shape.
yeah.
Whereas
and
they're
on-
more sort of eely, aren't they? The salmon. Come back. They don't like it, do they? I
They
think
don't
they've
like
had enough.
working with cowboys. Right, and an important one when they're this sort of size is this little fin at the back here called the adipose fin. On a trout it's quite reddy in colour, whereas on a salmon there's
Which
no
we've lost.
red colour in it at all.
You see that? That's this fin. I
Like
can't-
this fin at the back here, the adipose fin.
Oh
at the
yeah,
back.
those got some fashion. Right, well this trout has been abused enough, hasn't it? Oh, it's still got to be weighed and measured. Right, come on
Brown trout,
then. Do that quick.
224.
Where's the salmon?
Over there, behind Ed.
Salmon? Look, I'm getting into this
110.
kind of cuddling fish thing. Can I cuddle this grayling? It's two of these.
110.
Was it brown trout?
That is such a
21.80.
fantastic fish. Look at that. Oh,
I did miss
Sorry,
watching
mate.
last night then.
they're very tolerant of us, aren't they?
Up here in the higher reaches above London, there's never really been a problem. The river up here has always been very good. The Thames and the tributary, most of the tributaries anyway.
How clean is it? Can you drink it?
I wouldn't advise you to drink it because it's going through agricultural land. It's going to get runoff from horse poo and the chemicals they use on the lands. But other than that, this river here, this chalk stream that we're next to here, is one of the pristine chalk streams of England.
Right, so you're very positive and about the rivers, the state of the rivers, and that's
Yeah.
that's your considered view, is it? As someone who is a biologist working for the Environment Agency, you feel that they're doing all right.
Yeah, the rivers here are fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. This habitat and this water here is easily capable of supporting salmon, I would say.
That's very exciting because, I mean, often you hear people being very negative about our water, don't you? And sort of people saying, well, I wouldn't go near it, and people not wanting to swim in it and things. I mean, what do you think about people swimming in the river?
There's a question.
Tell the people of Oxford they can swim in the river. I swim in the river, actually.
Well,
but I know that, I mean, there are some diseases you can get, aren't there? And it's,
There are some nasty diseases that you can get that are untreatable and will kill you from the river.
yeah.
People do die of a disease called Weil's disease, which is carried by animals, including rats, particularly rats.
Along the banks of the river.
Yeah, so I would be careful about swimming in the river. I wouldn't necessarily condone it.
But that's a different issue to pollution.
And that's a different issue to the pollution that really concerns us. That's just a waterborne virus.
See the stripes on each side, they're called par marks.
Right.
When the fish becomes silver, around about March sort of time, and turns into a smolt, it loses its par marks, go totally silver, turn into a smolt, and then run out to sea.
Okay, because this is a par, this stage in the life of
That's
the
right, and
fish.
then that's right.
So it's a little teenage fish, kind of, a little baby fish.
Yeah, it's a stage after being fry stage.
So
We
let's
call them
fry as a
salmon
little
par.
baby,
Yeah,
and
and then we call them salmon par.
par is like a teenager or something.
Pars up
Still
until
juvenile.
sort of 2 years old.
Okay.
Juvenile up to 2 years old.
Okay.
And then they turn into smolts.
Have we got a smolt?
There's
closest-
a few that are
That
getting
big one was the
quite
closest.
silver.
It's that one. That's
No, it's a little bit more silver. As you see, it hasn't got the par marks, but it's a little bit more silver
lovely
coloured.
looking though, isn't he? Gorgeous. Okay,
But
so
I
he
wouldn't
hasn't
say
got
that was
those
a true smolt yet.
sort of leopardy stripes down his side. Those are the palm marks. He's losing that. And
That's right, yeah.
he's
It's
not
losing that
quite
and
a
turning
smolt.
silver.
And what is a smolt exactly?
It's a salmon when it's at the stage where it can go out into salt water.
Oh, okay. So he's not quite at that stage yet, but he's getting there.
That's right.
And then what do they turn into after they've done that bit?
Adult salmon.
Okay, is this no?
That's a trout.
I'm learning the difference. Okay, and what do we call that?
We just call them adult
Just
salmon,
call
but
them
they
adult.
come in if they spend one winter at sea. They came back and we call them grills.
Grills.
Grills, yes.
Is that because we grill them or nothing to do with
No, I
that?
don't know. I don't know why they call them grills.
Right.
If they spend 2 winters at sea, then they come back as 2 sea winter fish or 3 sea winter fish, and so on.
Right.
Each fish has its own little territory. Apart from the graylings to shoalfish, so they tend to live in shoals of various sizes. Call them a pod of grayling, I suppose. Could be 10 maximum usually in a shoal like that. Brown trout will establish a territory in a given area of river, and he will defend that territory against other trout,
Coming in.
particularly smaller trout than himself. Anything bigger will tend to drive him out.
Right.
So tends to be a bit of movement within the stream
Okay.
as a rule.
Okay. And so where will they form a territory in the river? Anywhere? I mean, do they?
Yeah, they look for where the living is going to be easy,
Right.
where food is going to come to them without them having to look too hard for it.
Now, will they defend the entire stretch across the river?
They will defend their patch of territory.
Okay,
Maybe
so
could
what
be as small as a square metre.
Oh,
No
okay.
more
So
than just a
literally a
little patch
patch
here
on the
will
riverbed.
A trout
Okay. So
living there.
right.
for
Okay.
example.
So we might
He will
literally
then
have a trout
he
living
will
here.
then defend that patch.
So I'm a trout and I'm living here. Okay. And then what? So what happens if another trout comes along?
If a smaller trout tries to invade, he'll drive it away. If there's a bigger trout, then there could be trouble.
Could be a fight.
Yeah,
How do fish fight?
they butt each other, charge at each
Do
other,
they?
swim around. Yeah, just
You
a
seen
little
that?
bit. Yeah.
They
yeah.
get excited.
Yeah, yeah, they'll.
We've done everything we need to, and now we can let them go.
We're going to put them back in the water, are we?
Yeah, and they're all recovered fine, so they should be fine. Do you want to get in the water and I'll pass
Just
you the net?
Oh, do we do it with a net?
Yeah, normally, unless you want to do it in your hands.
One by one. Okay, so I get in the water down here.
Yep, and I'll pass you the net now.
Do I just let them go?
Let them in the water.
Okay. They're a bit confused, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll take a few days to find their territory again.
Right, oh, another lot, okay.
Slightly larger net this time.
There we go. It's another lot. Ooh. There we go. Do you ever get tempted to take one home for tea?
No, I don't really.
Too nice alive.
Yeah.
They are, aren't they? Is that a salmon? Shall we?
That one there's a grayling.
Oh,
A little
here,
baby
look.
grayling.
There we go.
There's a
There's the
salmon.
salmon. There's a baby salmon. Special fish. He's hiding in my hand, isn't he?
It's just getting the feel
There
of the
we
water
go.
again.
There we go. Go on then. Off you go. That's the last of them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're confident?
I'm fairly confident that a good number of those salmon will survive to go out to sea next March, which is good news.